Larry Niltz was born in 1947 in Fort Payne, Alabama. At the age of 5, Larry's parents, Vernon and Rudell, decided to move the Nelson family to the small town of Ackworth, Georgia, a decision that would forever change their young son's life and start a love affair that would last a lifetime.
The love affair was sports and competition. Although slight in stature, during high school, Larry would excel in basketball, football, and baseball. He didn't really think about golf until he was halfway around the world in Vietnam. He made friends with a fellow soldier, Ken Hummel, who would go on and on about golf.
I figured, well, if he loved the game, there might be something there that maybe I could. And I actually probably would not have done it. I think it was important to know that he enjoyed it so much, and that was kind of the number one thing he wanted to do when he got back home.
Returning home to Georgia, Larry took a job at Pine Tree Country Club and quickly picked up the game at an astonishing pace. With Ben Hogan's 5 lessons as his guide, Larry quickly made a name for himself at Pine Tree.
He used to come before work and play 9 holes with our greens superintendent. His name was Roy Jordan. He could not beat Roy. They played along for a while, and all of a sudden, Roy couldn't beat him. There's a lot to being a good player other than just hitting the ball. And Larry had a lot inside. Smart, big heart.
Just 1 year after graduating from Kennesaw Junior College, Larry turned professional in 1971. After qualifying for the tour at age 27, he quietly continued to improve and had his breakout year in 1979, winning twice and finishing second on the money list.
He just doesn't get shaken. When you play with the great ones, Nicklaus and Floyd and Trevino and Player and Palmer, little things didn't shake him. When Larry's out there, if you watch him, just like this, flat line, you can't tell if he's 8 under or 8 over. That's when you know you have a champion.
In 1981, Nelson had quite a Georgia homecoming when he won the 63rd PGA Championship at the Atlanta Athletic Club. Larry bested Fuzzy Zeller by 4 strokes and put the golfing world on notice that the 33-year-old would be a force to be reckoned with.
Walking around the last 3 or 4 holes at the PGA Championship at the Athletic Club in 1981 was probably one of the most fun times that I had, because I was able to see people I knew, see people I hadn't seen in 10 or 15 years, people that didn't know I played golf that much, and seeing Bert when I walked around the 18th, and then seeing my mom and dad and my wife, it was really just a great experience.
2 years later, Larry came from 7 shots back with 36 holes to play to beat Tom Watson by a single shot at the 1983 U.S. Open at Oakmont. Larry would win his 2nd PGA Championship and 3rd major title when he outlasted Lanny Wadkins on the first sudden death playoff hole in 1987, securing his 3rd major in 6 years.
Going to a sudden death playoff at the 10th hole at the time was a par 4, short par 4. We both missed the green. He pitched about 12 feet, and I got it about 3 or 4 feet, and he made it and I missed. I don't want to lose. I hated losing. It tasted, pretty bad in my mouth for a long time, but if it had to beat anybody, I'm glad it was to Larry, because, he's a very deserving champion.
But perhaps the most impressive aspect of Larry's career was his performance with partner Lanny Wadkins in the '79 Ryder Cup. Larry never played golf in college, had never played team golf.
Billy Casper was just a great captain, and Lanny went to Billy and says, listen, Larry has not played any team stuff and doesn't know much about the Ryder Cup. He said, I'd like to take him and let him be my partner. And
by the luck of the draw, we just drew Seve Ballesteros and Antonio Garrido. And Seve's full of gamesmanship. This was the first time Europe had been involved in the Ryder Cup matches, and he didn't like getting beat, and we beat him worse each time. The thing that's key about this whole thing is the next day Larry drew Seve in the singles matches and beat him again. So he actually beat Seve 4 straight matches in the Ryder Cup in 1979. Very competitive.
But Larry's favorite memory in golf was the '81 Ryder Cup, where again he was undefeated. Now 9-0 in Ryder Cup play, Larry could handle the pressure.
Yeah, I tell people, they ask me about the pressure of the Ryder Cup, and to me, I tell them it's like every hole's like the 18th hole of a major. And that's kind of the mental, that's kind of where you are when you step on the first tee. The '81 Ryder Cup team, if you look at the records of the guys who made that team, was the best team ever in the Ryder Cup. And I mean, we had 10 guys who had won major championship, or 11 guys, 11 out of the 12 had won major championships, and 10 guys are in the Hall of Fame out of that 12-man squad. And standing in the locker room with Raymond Floyd, Jack Nicklaus, Lee Trevino, after this, you know, after we had won the cup, was the highlight of my career.
Well, you start putting his Ryder Cup record together, and I think his gentlemanly ways that will always be the hallmark anyway after a person's career. No, not enough people knew about what a substantial person Larry Nelson has been.
Substantial, to say the least. Nelson would add to his illustrious career by winning 19 times on the Champions Tour and being elected to the World Golf Hall of Fame in 2006. While active in golf course design, perhaps Larry's greatest gift to the game has come from his deep faith and quiet leadership.
The Champions Tour Fellowship was, you know, there was only like 4 or 5 guys attending, and it was kind of dwindling away. Now we have an average of, I would say, 60 to 100 people attend the fellowship on Friday night on the Champions Tour. And who knows what that would have been without Larry Nelson getting involved.
We went from having 5 people that would come maybe to, we had as many as 150 that would come. We had more guys that would actually come to the fellowship on Friday nights than didn't. And so it was that was a huge blessing to me to see the response of the guys out there and for it to continue for that length of time.
He did his thing for his country, but then he played golf, and he played that just about as fiercely as you could play. And I suppose you'd refer to Larry Nelson as a guy that if you were in a foxhole, you'd like to have him next to you.
And on the night he was awarded his Distinguished Service Award,
it's a special evening, and it's one you'll always remember. It will mean so much to you throughout the rest of your life. Congratulations.
I think I always had a crush on him.
And of course, there was the influence of his wife, Gail. Childhood sweethearts, they were married just after high school.
I don't remember not knowing Larry.
We grew up together. I'm sure the first time we met was in the kindergarten somewhere. I don't think I would have done anything in golf had it not been for her. To keep a home life, to raise 2 boys pretty much on the road, it takes someone with tremendous character. And so without her, I could have not have had a normal life in midst of what some people look at as a glamorous career.
He's fun to walk beside because he has a quiet strength that carries a lot of people along.